Hello. We all started this year with big plans and even bigger ideas, and we've been forced to change course and navigate this extraordinary health and economic crisis. So we've created the 7 and 7 series as a way to bring thought leaders to you, to the sponsorship marketing industry, to share ideas and insights to support you during this time. Today I have AJ Maestas, the CEO of Navigate Research, joining me. AJ is an industry leader in evaluating and measuring sponsorship programs. 14 years ago, I believe, AJ, you founded Navigate, a data-driven consulting firm, and we've all been cheering you on from the sidelines for a long time. So AJ and I have known each other for many years, and we share a passion for sponsorship, and I am so thrilled to have you join me today, AJ. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. I feel very lucky to be here, very lucky that I get to do what I do, and I'm glad to have known you all the way back to your WAMU days.
Yes, one of my earlier economic crisis. So you've been a long time advocate of progressing the sponsorship industry forward, and we've certainly seen a lot of growth over the last several years. But I'm curious, how do you believe that we can become better sponsorship marketers in the future?
Well, I'm biased because this is what Navigate does, but I do believe that we should measure more and better. We have to compete with digital investments that are very easy to track and measure. And the second thing I'd say is activation. It's getting old saying this, but it continues to be a problem. We buy and make investments in which we cannot activate against, and it's tragic. It actually is one of the most harmful things about sponsorship investments.
Yeah. And so why do you think it's important for brands to understand the value of their sponsorships, particularly during this time?
Well, you won't keep your budget if you don't. In fact, you may not keep your job, honestly. So, we are all financial stewards for our business, especially during COVID. Every dollar is being accounted for. So I would say, to understand and prove your ROI is the only way to get a deal or a renewal done.
Yeah. And what would be the advice that you would give to rights holders on the pricing of their sponsorship proposals?
I'd say to be realistic and think long-term. Bet on yourself. You mentioned Anheuser-Busch as one of our clients. They have incentive-based, programs where, you perform, you can earn more money. I think there's ways to mitigate, some of the risk and fear that a brand might have, and performance-based deals is a way, and bet on a longer future, bet on yourself. You can also build in flexibility. There's a lot of ways between rights and the flexibility in those rights, or building in activation budget to solve two of the challenges we were just discussing. That would be my quick advice for properties.
Yeah. So getting back to brands, what advice would you give them in making buying decisions today?
First, I would say to filter for fit against your target audience and price. If you buy the wrong deal against the wrong target audience for the wrong price, well, it's pretty difficult to prove and drive true ROI. Too many brands, I would say, field proposals and then pick and choose what they want to invest in. So my second point would be to be a proactive investor as opposed to just a buyer. You should know what you want in what market and when it comes available, and only the right pitches should make it to you. In fact, you should honestly beat them to the punch, and you should be reaching out to the properties that make sense for you as opposed to the other way around. But that's rare. It's only truly great marketers that find what fits and what they want and are proactive like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Can you share examples of perhaps a sports team or an event property that you have recently seen them delivering value to their brand sponsors during a time when the event may not be happening?
Well, sticking with some of the clients you mentioned, Anheuser-Busch has a number of their clients that are using their facilities for a blood drive, and they've made a $5 million commitment to support that. This was done in, I think, mid-March. Most people didn't even have a plan yet, and then here they were getting partners on the same page to be a teammate. I thought that was a beautiful thing. And I guess I'd finish by saying, just be flexible enough and service oriented enough to call your partners and just ask, what can we do to help? What is your strategy during COVID and coming out of COVID? What would you anticipate your needs? That kind of dialogue, it almost always leads to alignment. So even if it's not what you want to hear, you at least, have some clarity and something to march toward. Thank you.
So I've seen some of the videos that you've done, and in one of them recently, you had made a comment about sponsorship decisions being made based on facts and features and not on feelings. And so why is that more important now than ever?
Well, every dollar is being scrutinized. If a deal isn't defendable, it's probably not coming back, right? I mean, let's be realistic. The levels of unemployment and what will be increased savings and reduced spending mean that it's going to be a tough economic environment. So we may beat COVID quickly, but there's far bigger challenges than just COVID. I would say that in most times, selling and marketing is based on emotion, as it should be. That's why half our people are social scientists. But in a pandemic situation like this, and the ensuing economic hardship, this is one of those moments where facts and figures will likely win the day. Not for everybody, not all the time, but I would say most likely.
Yeah, absolutely. I really agree with you. I think that this situation is going to accelerate the growth that we have seen happening in the sponsorship industry, because we need to get there now faster, right? Brands need to do a better job in their measurement and their ROI, and properties need to do a better job at the pricing as well, and making sure that they're providing that ROI. So I'm curious, do you think that we're going to see sponsors, brands exit the sponsorship marketing industry next year? Do you think we're going to see dramatic falls in sponsorship revenue? Any predictions?
It's impossible not to take some form of a haircut here. The levels of unemployment, the frozen budgets, if you just look at the media market for Q2 and what's been cut, many brands slashing everything that they can, everything they're not contractually obligated to spend. It's realistic that we do take a step backwards. But if you look at past downturns, and I'm referring to economic downturns, plenty of people stay flat and grow throughout that. So this isn't a universal answer. And I'm completely confident that a few years in the future, we're back to normal, maybe a new normal, but not something that's radically different. And I very much believe in, and this is what we do for a living at Navigate, is research and understand the impact and effectiveness and efficiency of sponsorship investments. It has its place in portfolios. If you want to reach the hearts and minds of people, if you want to influence people, if you want to connect with what they love and their passions, this is the place to do it. So it's not going anywhere. We just might have to take a step back before we take 2 steps forward.
Thank you so much for joining me. AJ, if there's anybody who wants to connect with you or someone on your team, what's the best way for them to reach out?
If you go to navigateresearch.com, our emails are on there in our bios, and we're pushing out as much thought leadership as we can to help the industry and help our clients on Navigate Research's LinkedIn page. But honestly, we're open for phone calls. We want to be the kind of people who are there to help. So thank you for asking. You find us and we'll be there to help. That's the honest truth.
Terrific. Thank you so much, AJ. Best of luck to you.
Thank you. Have a great day.